I'm talking about blowtorches. It's the same thing where they start to...
It starts off real messy with just all
It's
the...
like what you do for lenses.
Yeah.
What do you call it? They make it more precise. It's like a camera lens. You
turn the lens.
You tighten the lens. You the words on the tip
you
of
move
my
the
tongue,
lens,
Jasha.
Micah.
Yes.
You siphon
move the lens. He moves his atomic breath. Everybody, welcome back to Podzilla, the show where we cover all Godzilla and Godzilla-adjacent media, mainly in chronological or release order. My name is Micah. I'm your guy who loves soggy noodles.
And I'm Jasha, and I haven't changed my shirt all week.
It's true. This place stinks right now.
Yeah, I might need to go for a shirt change. We'll see.
But the other reason it stinks is that we've actually been stuck in a Zoom cabinet meeting for the past, what has it been now? Like 3 days straight?
It's been days. GeForce invited us, to this video conference, and we've been moved to like breakout room to breakout room, conference call to conference call. It's just never ending. We decided to chuck ourselves on mute from all that and talk about Shin Godzilla.
Yep. We've kept the stream going in the background. If we want to look at it, I don't think there's anything important happening there.
No.
We'll be fine. They won't notice.
No.
But this week, you're right. We're covering Shin Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
We're going along in our order of release, and this is a movie made in 2016. The first Godzilla movie made by Toho after their 10-year.
12 years.
10 plus years.
Yeah.
Little hiatus.
Yep, so there was Final Wars in 2004, then this in 2016. This is the official kickoff to the Reiwa era, Toho's new era of Godzilla content, which we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of. But, I mean, we've got fond memories of this movie, Micah. We saw it in theaters, 2016.
How old would I have been? I would have been 15.
Wow.
I couldn't remember a single thing from it, except that Godzilla was cool.
Yeah, I'm the same. And I think a lot of the like political allegories and metaphors went over my head back then for sure.
I don't think we caught a lot of the satirical humor.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to getting into it. Should I just go straight into a recap?
Bro, give me Jasha's recap.
Okay. In Tokyo Bay, an abandoned yacht and flooded tunnels trigger absolute chaos. Deputy Chief Rando Higuchi suspects a giant creature's involvement in it all, a theory that is met with skepticism from the Japanese government. Soon enough, though, a giant creature does emerge, one named Godzilla, and it wreaks havoc across the city of Tokyo. Multiple failed attempts to stop Godzilla soon lead to an imminent nuclear strike threat from the US. Doing away with all the endless corporate meetings and cabinets, Higuchi and his ragtag team of nerds develop Operation Yashiori and try to use coagulant to freeze Godzilla. The operation succeeds just in the nick of time. However, even in Godzilla's frozen state, he still spreads terror as spiny humanoid creatures are seen emerging from his tail. Despite delaying the inevitable nuclear strike, uncertainty still looms as Japan is in shambles, the government needs rebuilding, and in the heart of the city stands an unmoving reminder of all that has transpired in Shin Godzilla.
That was clean, dude. Nice.
Yeah. What a movie. I should just note as well, this was directed by two directors, Hideaki Anno, who is famous for creating the Evangelion series, and then Shinji Higuchi, who did all the special effects for the Gamera Heisei series.
And he also cranked that Soldier Boy.
Did he?
Yeah. You will understand that reference in due time, my friend.
Okay, all right. And then we have quite a cool little cast here. I only included a few of them, but we got to talk about how our boy Hiroki Hasegawa, who plays Rando Higuchi.
He starred as the main character in Love and Peace, our Christmas episode that we just did end of last year.
Yeah, and he's the Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary in this. There's also Satomi Ishihara, who plays Kyoko Patterson. She's the special envoy for the President of the United States in this.
Yep.
We have Reno Sugi, who is the Prime Minister, Seiji Hikochi in this. And then the last one I thought we should probably mention is Mikako Ichikawa, who plays Hiromi Ogashira, a bureaucrat from the Ministry of Environment.
Yeah, this is a hard movie to talk about the characters in.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them were introduced to once with a real fast little title card for each of the names and roles.
Can we talk about how hard it is to watch this movie in English? Subtitles zapping all over the screen as people's names are popping up, their roles, the company they work for.
Yeah, we've seen one of the movies that these two have directed recently, Shin Ultraman. It came out in the past few years, but very similar style, crazy cinematography shots that change what feels like every second in the wackiest motions you can do. Each of these title cards come up for like half a second. Your eyes are going every which way across the screen, up, down, left, right, backwards, down to my little notes paper I'm writing things on.
But it's a fun time. I really loved revisiting this because, as we said before, I didn't remember most of it from when we watched it like nearly 10 years ago now, 8 years ago. So it was really cool. Michael, what did you think about it just generally as like a standalone Godzilla film?
A piece of Godzilla content.
Yeah, a new kind of origin.
Yeah, this is one of the only recent movies that acts as a pure standalone, and that's due to the crazy take that Hideaki and Shinji give the story. They take the idea of Godzilla, this creature created from nuclear warfare back in 1954, and they kind of put a new little spin on it. So instead of this time being the product of nuclear warfare, this one's the product of nuclear wastage and
radioactive waste and stuff.
The excess from that time around that period. So we get this fun little story of this Godzilla who evolves over time, and you get back to the basics where it's the government and the humans all trying to band together to defeat this threat. And I think it's a really fun take on the story of Godzilla. Because of that, but mainly because you just see it through such a different lens than you do the rest of the movies in the franchise.
Yeah, this is so original compared to all the others because just straight from the get-go, we're straight into the story. We almost see Godzilla, or at least his tail, from the get-go. And then we're chucked into cabinet meeting after cabinet meeting, meeting people after people, and we just see how the Japanese government responds to the threat of Godzilla, and they're just in shambles. Like throughout the first half of this movie, they're in shambles. They're having meetings. They're not really doing anything to stop the threat straight away.
Everything goes back to the Prime Minister to thumbs up, thumbs down.
The Prime Minister's getting a barrage of like questions and requests, and he doesn't even know who to agree with or say yes to or who's talking to him. And then they're like call in biologists, and these old biologists like don't even know what they're talking about or don't really even want to help out or comment.
Providing no useful information.
No.
I think it's a good time to talk about to set this movie up. So I've heard, and you might be able to explain this a little bit better, that there's a lot of allegory in this movie to a event that I only saw briefly mentioned as 3/11 when I was doing my trivia for this movie.
Yeah, so I mean, we already stated it before. You'd know if you watch any Godzilla movies that the original Godzilla film, Godzilla was a metaphor for Hiroshima and the very real nuclear bomb that went off and has left a mark on Japan. It's been in their memories. It's been in their history forever. It's this huge event everyone remembers. And then -1 recently, Godzilla -1, Godzilla was this metaphor almost for trauma and for depression and for like
survivor's guilt.
Survivor's guilt.
In that one.
Yeah. This one takes a different route and uses Godzilla to be a metaphor once again, but it's he's almost the metaphor for a real nuclear disaster that happened in Japan in 2011. I remember when this happened. I remember my parents telling me about this in 2011. But there was an earthquake, there was a tsunami, and then there was a nuclear plant, and it was just a huge, just horrible disaster. The most powerful earthquake that was ever recorded in Japan. It's still the fourth most powerful earthquake ever recorded in the world. And that earthquake triggered tsunami waves that reached heights of up to 40 meters.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy, right?
Lasted 6 minutes, I'm reading as well.
Yeah, 6 minutes. And then in turn, that tsunami caused the meltdowns of 3 different reactors in the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. And it's just horrible what happened. I mean, the plant then discharged radioactive water out, and there was evacuation zones that started like crumbling, and it's just horrible. I think there was 19,759 reported deaths.
Oh, wow.
Over 6,000 people injured, over 2,000 people still missing, all drowning or being burnt alive or being crushed. So it's just horrible. It's like a very real thing that happened. And then this movie comes out and kind of shows the government reacting to this threat of Godzilla and almost being inept and not reacting the way they probably could have, or as well as they could have, and still leading to deaths and destruction, which is just interesting when you read up about that event. I was blowing my mind reading up about it today.
And is that because almost the after effects of what the government should have done during that time, they just didn't handle it well at all for the survivors, or some of the efforts to try and rescue people?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I was reading about it, and to be honest, I was reading articles written outside of Japan, and they were saying that the government actually handled it quite well. They stepped in very fast. They evacuated zones and people and set up places for them to stay and keep safe. But apparently there's a few Japanese people that feel differently, that the government could have supported them more or stopped so many of those casualties from happening. And yeah, people draw the line from that to this and saying like very similar. People are even going so far to say that the different forms of Shin Godzilla in this movie could first be like the tsunami, the earthquake, and then the nuclear
fallout after
fallout.
That. Oh, interesting.
So it's very interesting.
It's a real weird experience coming into this movie and having this storied history of Godzilla movies, and this being the first one where it's focused almost, and the human efforts are focused almost entirely on a governmental point of view, but also it has like this very comedic undertone to it without being over the top.
It's satirical almost at times. Very jokey. I mean, that biologist scene is definitely one when like they call in these biologists to help provide information about whatever this creature is. And then they're all just useless. One saying, oh yeah, it's some sort of dinosaur. One saying, oh yeah, it's some sort of sea creature. And then one saying, all those videos could just be fake. How do we know it's real? I don't want to help out because it could put my credibility down as a biologist. Like, guys, Japan's getting attacked by this huge monster. You could be like moving a bit faster. You could be attacking a bit faster. You could be trying to help out your country and doing everything you can to help and learn and deal with the threat. Everyone's just sitting around nonchalantly. Let's move this to another meeting room. Why don't we have this meeting over here?
One of my favorite parts at the start of this movie. And it's funny that it's all happening right at the beginning. It's one of the first things you're open to. But you have one of your biologists coming in. I think it's the character of Hiromi Ogashiro who comes in as the Ministry of the Environment ambassador. But she does a bit of investigating. She's like, okay, once this creature comes onto land, it's probably going to be able to support its own body weight when it starts walking on the land. And all the others are like, no, our reports state otherwise. I don't think so. It's very unlikely.
Prime Minister, Prime Minister, we don't want to tell the public this, right? It's not going to happen. And the Prime Minister goes on
just
TV.
Just going to create an outrage. Yeah. And then he goes on TV, publicly states there's no way this thing is going to be able to hold its own weight. We've got everything handled. Someone runs up beside on the stage, whispers in his ear, and he just shouts it out.
Trying to save face.
It's a real comedic view on the government just doing like everything wrong during a crisis situation.
Well, it's interesting because I was even drawing parallels to like real events that are happening today, like whether that be different wars that are taking place in different places over the world or like disasters. Like there's times in this when like people are pledging support from overseas or people are helping out with food or like sending their thoughts. It's just crazy like how there's a lot of talk a lot of the time and there's a lot of meetings and a lot of people giving their thoughts, but very little action happening, which is just it was so interesting to see in the context of Godzilla. Like it's not a natural disaster. It's not like a real thing that's happening in real life. It's a monster that we all know and love, you know?
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite things about it is that it takes the idea of Godzilla, but then it looks at it in a different light, in a different framework. And I felt like this is the most unique that a Godzilla movie has ever been.
100%.
And the story and the way it sets out to tell, the story of this event, this crisis. And as we go on, things start to get a little bit more, I want to say, under control.
Yeah.
They start to get their priorities in order, but the tension never really lets up throughout this movie.
No, because it's interesting how things start to get under control as well, because we've got our main guy, Rando Higuchi, just this Rando guy, right? And instead of like working within the government and working within all these meetings and the structure that they've been working in throughout the whole lot of the movie when nothing much is happening, he like gets charged with leading his own little ragtag team of scientists and nerds and a whole lot of people that are just really passionate about seeing this threat dealt with and learning all they can and helping out their country. And that's when the real things start happening and the real like progress starts being made. And I really love that section of the movie because I think we talked about it with -1, but I love it when you just meet a cast of characters coming up with a plan and you see that plan slowly put into action and you see them putting their heart and souls into a plan.
Yeah, people outside of the government who aren't obligated to the cause, but who give up pretty much everything to put their all for it. In this movie, there's like a few intimate sequences where we see this team and they're all, I can't remember who it was, but one of the characters is saying, man, look at us. Isn't this cool how we go home, we come to work the next day and like everybody's making meals for everybody so that they don't have to go hungry while they're at work.
Bringing hot food back. Yeah. They're all sleeping there. And
it's a real nice look at just how much of a community can be built in those dangerous and crisis situations.
Yeah.
And the efforts that people go to just make sure that everybody's somewhat okay or getting by in those times.
Yeah, and I really loved that switch from the government who are like, they're not terrible people. They were just going about it in a really like, probably not the best way for a situation such as this. And then you see like the team and just the real like humanity just trying, like bonding together, coming together in this crisis, doing their best.
Yeah, a lot of on the governmental side of things, a lot of their individual efforts, the people of the cabinets, I feel like the phrase was uttered like 20 plus times in this movie, but I don't want to do this because my image will falter for it.
Yeah.
Or if I take this course of action, I don't want this to be what I'm known for, so I'm not going to do it. And then, contrasting, you have this group of people who are just trying to get the job done.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, though, I think the Prime Minister is a standout character because even though he's involved definitely in the whole corporate side, there's a real interesting scene when they have a chance to attack Godzilla when he's still in one of his earlier forms. And who knows, they could have destroyed him then before he fully evolved. And the Prime Minister decides not to shoot because there's a couple of elderly people, like civilians, in the area. Which was really interesting because I think that's like the dumbest decision. Like, of course, 2 people's lives to try and save everyone in Japan, right? But it did show that he actually did have some heart. He didn't want these 2 people to die.
Yeah, I felt like at the start of the movie, he's kind of made up to be this indecisive and
incompetent almost.
Yeah, this Prime Minister who gets led around by other people. But that's one of those scenes for sure where it shows that even though it may not be the right decision, that's not up for you or you to decide. It's a hard decision regardless.
Totally.
He does make a choice, and that's the important thing. It does take a bit of time to get there, but But by the latter half of this movie, when he's still around, because spoiler alert, he dies like 2/3 in. He is making these heavy decisions. He's authorizing use of all of these first guns, then missiles, and then he just states outright any weapons necessary to try and defeat this creature.
Yeah, it was an interesting character. I did love how even though this movie was so quick and like moved around the place so much, we still got to see some really great moments with all these people and how different people reacted to this same crisis. But what do you think of like Godzilla overall? This design, is it Shin Godzilla? Shin Godzilla?
I think it's called Shin Godzilla.
Yeah. So different to anything else.
Yeah, I think it's one of the first Godzillas we have with very distinct evolutionary phases throughout this movie. He's got 5 forms in this. Form 1 is just what they call when his tail's out of the water.
Is that Form 1?
More so because that's like one specific snapshot of a threat that the government's trying to combat.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is all we know about him. This is all go off. 2 is when he breaches onto land. I forget the name of this one, but he was like memed a lot and, for lack of a better term, kawaii-fied after the movie came out.
Yeah.
As
Kamata-kun?
Kamata-kun, yeah. He shows up in a lot of fan art. He's made his way to like Godziban in the future that we'll get to.
This ugly little dude just spewing blood all over the place.
Yeah, he's like a fish with crazy blood gills and bulging eyes. He eventually goes into his 3rd form, which is when he's standing up. He's a bit more red.
Still just as ugly.
Still just as ugly. He's starting to grow little arms. Get to his 4th form, which is like his main form for most of the movie. And this is what people see as like Shin Godzilla, where he's got this like crazy Google eyes. He's standing up. He's got short arms like a T-Rex.
I kind of like them, little skeletal little hands.
He has this like mandible mouth that opens. I don't even know how to describe him. He's really crazy with how he looks.
The tail is insane.
He's got a crazy tail. And then 5th form, which we just get a very, very brief look.
Yeah.
Almost a teaser of what could have been if the government and the people of Japan didn't defeat this threat in time, where you're seeing that Godzilla's tail is starting to sprout these almost xenomorph-like humanoid Godzillas.
Humanoids with back scoots.
Humanoids with back scoots. Oh, to be a humanoid with back scoots.
Yeah, which is so interesting because like this Godzilla is supposed to be just some sort of aquatic creature that was affected by radioactive waste and slowly started to evolve to be able to survive in the environments he was in. So it's interesting that the Godzilla that's in Tokyo City starts to evolve into the environment that he's in, the city, and like starts evolving into people almost.
Yeah. It's an interesting way to take it. I've heard a lot of people theorize that because all of Japan ended up finally coming together and defeating this threat through community and banding together, that final form is a little look at Godzilla almost coming to the same conclusion and being like, hey,
whoa,
I have to create these own individual things to work together to get the job done.
To survive.
Because I can't do it as one larger... I don't know. There's a lot of ways you could look at it, which I really like. It's not a clear ending.
What's really interesting as well is this Godzilla just seems stupid. I mean, when he like flops out of the water at the beginning and he's like waddling down the streets, pushing all the boats and the cars all over the place, he doesn't seem like he's very smart. I mean, we don't even know what he's doing. He's not going for any like radioactive nuclear stuff to like draw power from. He's just making his way to the middle of the city and he goes and comes back. And even in his final form at the end, he still seems stupid. I mean, he's not really doing anything. It's kind of more so his body is doing all the work for him. Like his body is trying to protect him and then his body is evolving to meet the environment. It's very weird.
I get that. I like it.
Yeah.
I found it to harken back to those original ideas of Godzilla as this, and it's what the Heisei movie covered a lot. It's just this unstoppable force of nature. And in this movie, they portray Godzilla as, yes, this creature, but like you said, it's just all the other things that a being of this immensity, all the things that come along with it.
Yeah.
A big portion of this movie talks about how, like the reason that Godzilla goes back into the water after going on land, say, is because he has to cool off from releasing all of this thermal activity.
That's right. It's pretty cool.
Which is just something that comes from being a nuclear creature of that size.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I do love the way that Shin Godzilla looks. Like all the shots we get of his spines, like the red light coming from them, his tail. His tail's as big as Godzilla moving around. Again, it's pulsing red.
I know they took a lot of inspiration from the original little puppet that they used for the 1954 movie.
Oh, the little ugly one that looks over the...
If you think back to that shot where he looks over the hill,
yeah,
you can definitely see the similarities.
Yeah,
to
I
Shin
can.
right there.
I love it. But I also love just like how indestructible he seems. Just what you were saying before. Every single bullet like bounces off him as if he's made of metal almost. It's like clanking sounds when he's getting hit by all the bullets.
Yeah, it's great.
He's got like little eye shields that pop down to protect his eyes when he's being hit. Did you see these? Like metallic little... A nictitating membrane?
A what?
A nictitating membrane?
What the heck is a nictitating?
A nictitating membrane.
That's not
what
a word.
Lizards have to protect their eyes instead of eyelids.
I've always heard of that as like an inner eyelid or like a second eyelid.
Dude, it's a nictitating membrane. Take my word
Is
for
that
it.
right?
It's either nictitating or nictating.
Okay, go hard, dude. Go hard with your nictating membrane.
I also love how am I right?
Yeah, it's nictating.
Nictating membrane, guys. I know my lizard lore.
He knows his lizard lore.
I love how we just see this Godzilla get wrecked as well. There's a scene when he gets a missile dropped into his back and it just explodes and you see blood like sploshing out of him.
Yeah, after so much of the movie where he seems like an indestructible threat.
Yeah.
The ideas that they come up with and the strategies that they start to use and implement to finally wear down this creature. It's really cool to see him finally get like damaged after all the damage he's caused to Tokyo.
Yeah. And even later on when he's like getting hit down to the ground, he gets back up and getting hit down and then they're trying to like siphon.
They topple like 6 skyscrapers on Godzilla.
Yeah. They're trying to siphon this like coolant into him.
Yeah, this is another one in the long line of movies where they come up with real interesting ways to defeat Godzilla.
Yeah.
They pump like, I can't remember if it was
Coagulant?
coolant or coagulant, but it's just tons and tons and tons of it into his mouth.
Chucking straws in his mouth to try and get him to down it all.
And we're not even talking about the main thing that he does.
Insane.
Shin Godzilla's atomic breath.
Yeah.
It's one of the things he's most known for in this whole franchise. And the lead up to it is just fantastic because we all know it's going to appear in this movie in some form or another. And when it comes to it, you see him start slowly to change from his red coloring, his black and red, to slowly get to his pink and this white even.
And even like how the atomic breath comes out, it starts off as just pure fire. Like it's fire that just starts like fumbling down the streets almost, funneling down the streets, just filling up the whole city with fire. And then it slowly turns to a thinner and thinner line.
This is what happens with blowtorches.
Yeah.
Where they... I read a book about... They had blowtorching as like a main theme last year.
Wait, you read a book about blowtorches?
It was by the same dude who made The Martian.
Okay.
So very
Not just reading Dummy's Guide to Blowtorches. Well, I'm reading
101.
Dummy's Guide to Lizard Eyes.
You're the... What was it, the lizard man?
Yeah, I can be lizard man. You can be blowtorch guy.
This is the superhero movie that everybody wants.
You're talking about blowtorches.
I'm talking about blowtorches. It's the same thing where they start to...
It starts off real messy with just all
It's
the...
like what you do for lenses. Yeah. What do you call it?
They
make it more precise. It's like a camera lens. You
turn the lens.
You tighten the lens. The words on the tip
you
of
move
my
the
tongue,
lens,
Jasha.
Micah.
Yes.
You
move
siphon
the lens. He moves his atomic breath.
Yeah, I get the blowtorch.
He focuses.
comparison.
That's the word.
Okay.
He focuses it into like this single straight beam
Turns purple.
of pure purple energy, and this is like one of the most destructive abilities that any Godzilla's ever done.
It's such a cool scene.
In one fell swoop, he just swipes across the landscape, and there's pure obliteration in his wake. And not only that, later on in the movie, we see that same atomic breath start to come from not only his mouth, but his tail as well. And then to all the different...
Even before that, his back.
Scoots and back spikes. There are many scenes where it's just laser beams extruding into the sky, getting rid of all these different helicopters and planes.
And again, I love it.
Skyscrapers.
Because it's not precise. Like, he doesn't actually hit where he's being attacked from with that beam. He's kind of just hitting everywhere, and some of them are hitting.
He turns around and it's just everything's gone.
I loved how some of that looked, because that first scene when he lets his atomic breath out and fire just turns up everywhere and he's walking through the fire. It went slow-mo and almost looked animated for a bit. Like some scenes looked like it was right from an anime. And I was like, man, these visuals.
That's the team of directors for you.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't watched any of Evangelion yet, but I know that that duo, Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi, work a lot with those real hellish and sometimes ethereal visuals. Those times when it just goes over the top and you're left with this just crazy, almost like eldritch image of these
It's a good
creatures.
comparison, yeah.
And this Godzilla definitely looks eldritch in nature.
Yeah. Man, I love the way that Anno shoots his movies, though, because we both saw Shin Ultraman, and while he didn't direct that, he was producing it. He did some of the cinematography for it. I think he wrote the screenplay.
He was there as a writer.
So he's very much across the Shin Japan Heroes world and how all the movies look and feel. And Ultraman feels very similar. Shin Kamen Rider felt similar. I think he directed that one. But I just love how this movie looks. It's so creative.
Yeah, they did a lot in Shin Ultraman. It's one of my favorite things about it. But the use of cinematography is fantastic. We see it's like one of their classic bits of iconography is they have a lot of cinematography where it's like from the POV of an item or a thing in the environment.
Yeah, you're not just getting a normal close-up or an over-the-shoulder shot or anything. You're getting POV from a chair or POV from a laptop screen.
I've heard a lot of people say that his shots are like being a fly on a wall. It's like, the camera's not in a place where you usually would have it if you were shooting a scene.
No.
But in being a place where you don't expect it to be, I feel like it emphasizes everything that's on screen.
Yeah, it's so cool. There's like a couple scenes when we get the point of view of like a tank, like we're just seeing around the tank as it's shooting at Godzilla. Real creative.
And especially for those board meeting scenes, it's a bit more normal in those spaces, but just those big sweeping shots, it feels like there's so much in frame every single shot here. And especially in ones where like Godzilla comes onto the scene. One of the iconic shots here is of Shin Godzilla, just this like very small section, a very small portion in the top left of the screen when you're seeing just people running away and like the ocean and other destroyed buildings in the foreground taking up most of the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, some really, really cool visual art styles and imagery here.
Yeah. What did you think of the train bombs? Micah, there was some vehicles and scenes from this movie that are depicted in one of our favorite games, Godzilla Battle Line. We had the like stealth bombers.
Yep, stealth bombers were there.
We had the train bombs. I can't believe this train bomb scene where they're just sending trains with explosives in them to blow up Godzilla. There's a scene when they just send off like 20 at once. And they're just like glitching up Godzilla's body and exploding. It looks so
Flying
wacky.
into the air.
I liked the CGI for most of this movie, I must say. It still holds up today. Godzilla looks great. I don't know why, but I've always thought, I mean, I only saw this movie once in 2016. I've always just remembered like the googly eyes. And I've always just been like, that movie probably didn't look as good. Didn't look too good. It probably doesn't hold up. But it really does.
I think Godzilla, especially his final fourth form here, looks just so good.
Yeah.
So good. Everything else is like all right for me.
Yeah, it is just like some of the vehicles, some of the trains, the helicopters.
The other Godzillas, I do not like.
You still don't like his first couple forms?
Nah.
Really? I don't like his tail. That's the one bit that like just put me out of it, because I look at Godzilla, his skin looks so charred and so awesome and so lifelike, and you just see this tail flopping around behind him. It looks like it just takes me out. Like, that's not something that could actually exist and be moving the way it does. But I appreciate the design.
I appreciate it. Yeah, there's so many different facets of this movie that I really, really enjoy. Do you mind if I go into some trivia real quick?
Dude, go
actually?
for it.
Yeah, so first off, this was the first movie in like a line of Japanese movies with the Shin title in. Most of us believe that's because Shin means new.
Yeah, is that not the case?
It is, but the producer Akihiro Yamauchi said that he chose the title Shin Godzilla because Shin means a few other things as well. So it actually has a few syllables that Shin can convey, such as new, but also true. So true Godzilla.
Oh, that's cool.
And God.
Godzilla.
So imagine being in Japan and seeing them announce the movie Godzilla.
Well, what's interesting is Gojira doesn't mean anything to do with God, right? In Japan,
No.
It literally means gorilla whale,
Gorilla whale.
or something like that. So it's the jokes when we refer to Godzilla as a god is a real Western thing.
Yeah, but they do actually talk about that in this movie.
In this movie specifically, yeah, God incarnate.
Yeah, in this movie, it's the US that names him Godzilla.
Yeah,
Which is a real nice little parallel there.
yeah.
The international title for this movie was Godzilla Resurgence, but they ended up just keeping the title Shin Godzilla
I like it.
because it sticks. I think it's really cool.
Mm.
Another bit of trivia, director Hideaki Anno told the actors to speak faster than usual so that they would resemble actual politicians and bureaucrats.
That's why I actually like the messiness at the start of this movie when everyone's talking fast. There's so many subtitles and name introductions. It actually adds to the chaos of the whole thing.
It feels chaotic. It feels like everybody's just trying to spew everything out.
Yeah, because I missed so many people's names. I miss whoever all the people were in that conference room, but that almost added to it because it just felt so all over the place.
It said that Hideaki Anno, he would cut the take if they spoke too slowly.
Really?
Which is great for those first few scenes, because if there's a national emergency of that level,
Yeah.
of course you're not going to take your time making it nice and pretty and prim for the camera. It's going to be hectic, and that comes across so well. Jason, do you remember Satomi Ishihara? She is the US representative who wants to be the US president, one day.
Yeah. I loved her. She was great. She had terrible English. She was trying.
So she didn't know that her part included any English until she got it.
Really?
The hardest part of her performance was learning English. The day after being cast, found out that she was going to be speaking American.
Oh my goodness. So she learnt English for the role that
I don't know if
she had to do.
I don't know if she learnt it. I know there's a few actors out there who have. What's that French actress who's in like the Blade Runner recent movie?
Oh yeah. Everyone loves her. I can't remember her name right now. Anna something?
You will know who she is
From Knives Out. You'll know her.
from The Witcher.
Oh?
Is she in The Witcher?
No.
She's not in The Witcher. Never mind.
Are we talking about the same person? Deep Water?
I don't know what that is.
No Time to Die?
Ana de Armas, of course.
Ana de Armas, yeah.
Ana de Armas is one of those actresses who, I think the first movie she was in included a lot of English. She didn't learn English for it. She just learned how to phonetically say all of her lines.
It sounds like this is definitely what this actress in Shin Godzilla is doing, because it's right English, but it just sounds like she's repeating it phonetically.
It's not the way that you would say it if you were learning the language. There's a few other characters who speak English in this movie as well, and I feel like continuing the trend. This movie has a few English-speaking actors who are just terrible in their delivery.
Yeah, man, they they must need some good English speaking actors over there. Maybe we just got to head over, Micah, stand outside the Toho lot, try to get hired as Americans. Us New Zealanders should try to get hired as Americans for the new Toho Godzilla movie.
It's that easy. We just have to be standing there.
The trick will probably be that those American actors can speak Japanese, so they can get directions and they can work with the crew.
That would probably be it.
Even if their English isn't great. Yeah. It's interesting.
The day that the people first encounter Godzilla in this movie is on November 3rd, which is a reference 11/3/311 to that original incident in Japan.
What's interesting is, isn't November 3rd also Godzilla Day?
Is that right?
Is that right?
Godzilla Day, November 1st.
November 1st. Flip.
That would be that would be incredibly
crazy.
Coincidental.
Crazy.
And last little interesting bit here. Favorite character, Rando Higuchi.
He's your favorite character?
I think everybody's favorite character.
Flip.
No.
I like the American girl.
Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Fan favorite character, Rando Higuchi. We were talking about how a lot of these characters had those introductory title cards for them whenever they came up first.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes hard to notice in this movie, but he gets reintroduced with
later
a
on.
card.
I noticed it.
Not only once more, but a few times.
Really?
And that happens whenever he's given more responsibilities in the film.
I definitely noticed it when he had to lead that group of scientists, his own little group, which was really cool.
Yeah, whenever he steps up, whenever he takes on more responsibility, it's almost reframing him in a more important light, which is a real nice little thing that they did, I think.
Yeah, I really liked his character and his progression throughout the film, because he's just, even though he's sweating through his shirts, he's doing as much work as he can trying to save the city. And I love the ending as well, when it's it's hinted at that he should try to be president, or he should try be in the new cabinet. And there's a line this is a good opportunity for us to rebuild it right.
Yeah.
Really cool with him as a part of that.
Because am I right in saying the whole Japanese cabinet ends up resigning?
Yeah, a lot of them got resigned. A lot of them, I think, were killed.
And yeah, sets the place for them. I find him to be a real compelling character because he's, one, competent, but he's also just really humble.
Yeah.
There's a scene where other people are saying, after this, you should run for president. And he's like, maybe in 10 years, I'll work towards that. Right now, I'm just focused on getting this task done. It's he's the perfect choice after seeing this movie. And I just have to say as well, after seeing Love and Peace, the range of Hiroki Hasegawa is crazy. In Love and Peace, he played this down on his luck, just douchey guy who made you want to kick him every time he was on screen.
Yeah, he's great. I need to track down some other stuff he's in.
But he's real cool in this. Real humbly heroic is what I like to call him.
Yeah.
That's what I aspire to be, Jasha.
Humbly heroic?
Humbly heroic.
I think you're there.
Thanks, mate.
I think you're there. You're a humbly heroic blowtorch bro.
You're a humbly heroic lizard lad.
Should you go through some final thoughts and ratings? I love the quick cut we had to the people in Japan. There was a small group of them that were rioting and saying, "Save Godzilla, Godzilla is God," and reacting to this monster in a real different way than everyone else in the city. I just loved that. It felt straight out of an anime once again, or it felt real a cool thing for them to briefly explore. Because that's probably what would happen in real life if this huge godlike creature came. Some people would probably want to worship it. Who knows?
I think you'd be there.
I'd be there. Yeah. Save Godzilla. Again, him getting asked to change his shirt because he stinks. I keep coming back to this. But I would be so humiliated if anyone ever said that to me.
I feel like it's all right, though, if you're in a national state of emergency. If you're not even 3 days in, I feel like you got to have a little bit of leeway with your stench.
Yeah. The humiliation from that, though, I'd never recover. I did love the quick cut to him, near the end of the movie, you see him buttoning up a shirt and retying a tie, insinuating that he's changed his shirt once again. It's a pretty cool little cutaway. I love the Orochi mention.
Yes.
We got a Orochi name drop because I think the operation that they come up with to use all this coagulant, they name it Operation Yashiori, which is the drink that was fed to Orochi in the original stories that was able to put him to sleep so that he could be slain.
Yeah, Rando puts forward that operation name in like 2 seconds flat.
Yeah. But it's so cool because it is actually, you can see clear comparisons to how they defeat Godzilla and how in the original stories and in the Three Treasures movie that Toho made depicting those stories, both monsters are kind of taken down the same way.
It's a nice through line there.
Nice.
Do they give him that little drink, that nectar in the OG Three Treasures movie?
Yeah, they do. Remember, he's drinking out of the buckets.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
And we watched that near the start of Podzilla now. We need a rewatch.
Good stuff. Check out that episode.
Last thing I just wanted to mention was that there's a guy in this.
No way.
There's a guy in that team of scientists who has like a pink cloth or a pink flannel around his neck. The actor is Shinya Sakamoto, and he is actually the director of Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Oh, I've heard of
that. It's a real like cult classic, grimy Japanese movie. But he's got a huge cult following in Japan. He's made all these kind of weird and wonderful Japanese movies, and he does do some acting as well. It's cool to see him in like a pretty prominent role in this one.
Yeah, pretty big movie because this movie did do very, very well.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah, very well. But yeah, all in all, I loved this, man. I loved this. I did not expect to love this as much as I did. I think it's such a fresh, interesting, inventive take on the Godzilla story. They didn't just like use a new metaphor and show it in a new light, but the way the story was told in such a different way. The way it was shot in such a different way. The way Godzilla looked was shown in such a different way. Everything is such a change up from anything we're used to. And I just love it for that. And yeah, I think the story is really thrilling. I know a lot of people kind of tune out because of all the meetings and because of all the talk in this movie. But I was really locked in on it. It's actually pretty intense, especially towards the end, them running out of time, the US wanting to step in and like launch a bomb on the city, and they're just against all odds having to try this harebrained scheme to try and defeat Godzilla. I thought it was so cool, so inventive. I love the metaphors. And I think it's a 5 out of 5 for me. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5, Micah. People with balls. 5 out of 5 people with balls. There's a part of this movie when I think Rando's assigned his team of scientists. And he's like, finally, people with balls. So I want some of those scientists. I want 5 of them. I want 5 people with balls. Out of 5.
Good stuff, Jason.
For Shin Godzilla.
Nice.
What a movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. I really, really love this as well, mainly because it's just a real fresh take on it. I love most of the things I've seen Hideaki Anno and Shinji make. Shin Ultraman was standout for me, and I think, this is right up there with it. It's just real fun takes of the behind-the-scene things of what happens during these crisis events, and a different view on how people go about working together to try take down this creature, when sometimes it's not just the creature that's at play, it's all the interpersonal relationships that come along with running a country, making sure that everybody else is safe, making sure that tensions are all right between other countries when things like this are happening. Even 50 years after the original Godzilla, it's nice to see a shake-up of the formula.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing here. I love Godzilla in this. He's fantastic. The only thing I would take away from it is that you don't spend a lot of time with a lot of the characters, and sometimes there's a lack of emotional connection to them, I'd say. But I think it works all right, especially since with this movie, you're kind of swept up in the events.
I think that almost adds to it for me, is just because we are seeing these little bits and pieces of these people, but we are seeing scenes of their humanity and their heart at different times.
I don't know if I like it, but I like it in this context. It's like, you're seeing you're seeing all these people show up to this work that they're trying to do, and it's almost like they have to push aside all of those scenes where you might get a bit of character development with them, or you might learn a little bit about their home life or the family around them. Pushes that aside because they're just trying to get the job done.
You're right, because now you like mentioned their families. It would have been maybe interesting to see a little bit of what's happening at home or the things they're dealing with on top of all this. But I don't know.
I think focusing on just the governmental side of it gives it a very clear picture of what this movie is trying to do.
Yeah.
It's a choice, and it's a choice that works really, really, really well. And yeah, probably one of my favorite Godzillas up there.
Whoa.
Now. Shin Godzilla's awesome, dude. Shin
Goji. How many people with balls would you give Shin Godzilla?
I was torn between 4.5, but I feel like that would be very, very sore. So I'm just going to push it up to 5.
5 out of 5?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, man. It's so cool how there has been so many standalone Godzilla movies, all of them done really, really well and done in like hugely different ways.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing this movie's done for me is after watching it, I'm going forward with a hope and an expectation that even with some of the upcoming movies like Godzilla X Kong, but mostly like we've seen with Godzilla -1, is that people just keep on continuing to make Godzilla movies with unique visions.
In their own way.
Yeah. Getting fresh people behind the scenes, behind the camera as directors of these movies, and just putting their own little spin, their own take on Godzilla.
Yeah, because I remember like thinking back to all the movies we've covered on the show, all the episodes we've done, some of the times when we've really enjoyed the movies the most is when there has been a new director, even if the movie's kind of lame or campy or weird, it does inject a certain amount of like freshness into it. It makes it different and makes it entertaining when someone does just give their take on this monster or this story.
Yeah. And like we've got a lot of new takes coming up in this Reiwa era of Godzilla. But even like, I'm super happy that the MonsterVerse is around because that's giving us a side of Godzilla that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
This Hollywoodified, crazy CG fights version.
And even the different MonsterVerse movies. I mean, there's different directors there and you can definitely see their takes on it.
I know I'm looking forward to like the anime trilogy and even Godzilla Singular Point, just because it seems like they've got real cool takes on the mythos of Godzilla.
Yeah. It's real cool. What a cool franchise that you can have so many different people sharing their views and creating like awesome movies and shows from the same
like building blocks.
Yeah, the building blocks. So interesting. We have some messages, some reviews sent in from you guys we thought we'd read out. First one here is from Zaniko. And Zaniko says, monsters are tragic beings. They are born too tall, too strong, too heavy. They are not evil by choice. That is their tragedy. They do not attack people because they want to, but because of their size and strength. Mankind has no other choice but to defend himself. And that's a quote from Ashiro Honda. And Zaniko says, yeah, this quote basically describes Shin Godzilla. The different approach to Godzilla is very welcome, as opposed to him either being the villain or the hero. He's the victim, a victim of humanity and a victim of himself. Not allowed death, not allowed peace and love. After all, if he dies, who would know something of him? On the other hand, this movie is just kind of, ha ha ha, government, you suck. So that's cool. I'm going to give it 4 pointless meetings out of 5. Good stuff. I love that reference to Godzilla being the victim in this. Because he really is. He's kind of created not out of his own choice because of what humanity did to him. His body's just kind of reacting naturally how it would to try and survive in the environment.
I mean, even a lot of the scenes where like they're hosing in that coolant into his mouth, the destruction that he causes then is really just self-defense.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a nice take on it. I've got another message here from Joseph, Joe Jazzy.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is my favorite Godzilla score so far. Just perfect and played in the exact right moments. I love the different evolutions Godzilla goes through in this. It's an awesome way to keep the monster interesting and unpredictable. One of the early ones that we see, I want a figure of badly. He's just a cute little fella flopping his way through the city. I think this is Kamada-kun.
Yeah.
And I adore him. Fantastic watch along with the Podzilla folks. Had not seen this in years, and it was way better than I remembered. It's in my top 3 so far for sure, right alongside -1 and the original 1954 film 5 out of 5.
Yes, Joe.
I want to point out there as well, he talked about that this is his favorite Godzilla score so far.
We didn't even talk about the music, and I feel like that was an amazing part of the movie. How did we forget? Some great tracks. This is definitely going to my Godzilla playlist I've got for sure. Can't wait to re-listen to some of these. We have another message here from Thomas, aka Obscure, in the Discord. And Thomas says, holy hell, this movie. Seeing it in a crowded theater back in October of 2016 was an unmatched experience. 8 years on, it still holds up and ranks in my top 3. That said, while I would rank this among the best Godzilla films, I wouldn't rank it as a template Godzilla film. Using this as someone's introduction to the series is a horrendous idea and would most likely result on their being bored or confused, speaking from experience. That aside, on its own terms, the film works tremendously. Everything it sets out to do, it accomplishes perfectly. While the focus on political reactions isn't for everyone, there is no denying the flawless artistry on display during those sequences. Departmental board meetings have never looked this flashy and probably never will again. I give it 9.9999999 out of 10. Only -1 in Godzilla X Mechagodzilla get my 10 out of 10. This was super close though. The line is practically microscopic.
I like it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I couldn't imagine someone seeing this as like, hey, you want to watch a Godzilla movie? Here's the first one you should check out, Shin Godzilla.
It's really interesting because I know a lot of people who saw this as one of their first Godzilla movies.
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know a lot of people who saw this as their first Godzilla movie.
You personally know.
But
so.
I know that a lot of people who saw this as their first one, when it came around to watching Godzilla -1, it really affected their love of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you are right. Now that you mention it, I do know that there are a whole lot of people that were introduced to Godzilla through the MonsterVerse, and then they saw this as Japan's take on it, and this was how Japan does Godzilla, and they haven't really seeked out much of the other Japanese Godzilla stuff.
Yeah.
So
interesting observation.
It is interesting. Yeah, it is very interesting that you're speaking from experience there too. There's a lot of Japanese Godzilla. I don't think there is a single template for all the films, to be honest. There's not one movie I could point to and be like, hey, every Godzilla movie's like this. I've got another one here from Morshu. And Morshu says, a god incarnate. This was such a return to form movie for the Godzilla franchise. It was nice seeing the human characters react to such a creature as they did in the original from 1954, compared to all the other movies where they kind of just see Godzilla and go, oh, he's here, let's stop him. The only downside to me, at least, is that some of the human scenes drag on a bit longer than necessary, and Morshu gives it 4.5 out of 5.
Nice. Do I think some of the human scenes drag? No, I feel like the pacing for this movie, while it is very fast, and I know that it would turn off for a lot of people, there are some slower scenes. I feel like it's done all right.
Yeah.
We have a message from Big O.
Yeah.
Who says, made my girlfriend take the Shin Godzilla pill and I might have to take her to rehab because she became addicted to this insanity. 5 out of 5. Big O, I could not be happier for you.
Yes, Big O. Taking the Shin Godzilla pill. And actually, lastly, we have a voice message from Nelbus. Thought I'd give that a play.
Hello, my Kiwi brothers. So for me, as far as where Shin stands in the legacy of Godzilla, I would say this is, without a doubt, one of the most evocative films. Yeah, what's really cool is when it comes to Hideaki Anno's filmography, I find this film to be interestingly very different in that it's his least intimate film, but I think that really works in the film's favor because it is about that disconnectivity. The harsh cuts between the boardrooms are kind of this like really comedic angle that lends to that socio-political, satirical nature, which really plays at odds with the very kinetic anime-like sequences of human cooperation, where you have those framing devices of like the POV, you're a desk, POV, you're a chair, POV, you're a screen, that kind of evokes what he did in Love and Pop in 1998. Very observational, very fly on the wall. It's like we're getting tossed and thrown around this cooperative hive mind. It's really cool. And then how we break away from that and we get the imagery of infrastructure and railway lines and power cables, which is something you see throughout his entire career. You see it in Ritual, you see it in Evangelion, which really lends to the idea that it's the connectivity of humanity that is truly the savior, instead of this bureaucratic government that refuses to adapt against this monster that exists to evolve. I think what Anno brings to Godzilla as a socio-political commentary, satire, is just really exciting for the series. So yeah, one of my favorites. Absolutely freaking love it. Thanks for the show, boys.
Oh, good stuff, Nalbus. I saw him 5-bang it right after we finished watching it.
Yes. Nalbus, our brother from Aussie. Absolutely amazing stuff. Yeah, I love when you mentioned the power lines and the cables, I couldn't help but stop seeing them throughout the movie. And that's something I really want to dig into Anno's other stuff, other movies, Love and Pop. And Ritual that you mentioned there. I've added them to my watch list. I can't wait to check them out.
Yeah, both of these directors, I think anything we've seen from both of them, we've been really receptive to the way that they've portrayed these ideas, like specifically with the camera work there. It's just always so interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from these two.
Yeah. Freaking amazing review as well, Nalbus. Follow Nalbus on Letterboxd, everyone. You check out this stuff. Anyway, next episode, we're going to be covering Kong Skull Island from 2017. We're back into the Monsterverse, and the synopsis for this goes, a crew that reaches the mysterious Skull Island to map it is suddenly attacked by a humongous ape. The survivors must then struggle to regroup and learn more about the ape, the island's natives, and a world of underground monsters.
Yeah, this is the one Monsterverse movie that I had seen prior to this Podzilla journey. And funnily enough, I was busting to go to the bathroom, so I left the theater before I saw the Godzilla connection.
The after credit
scene.
Oh my goodness, I forgot you did that.
So it's going to be nice to come back to this with that wider view of not only the Godzilla franchise, but also the Kong franchise that we've covered on the Patreon.
Yeah, we've covered every single Kong movie, and there are more than you'd think there would be over on patreon.com/Podzilla. I'm excited to have John Goodman finally on the show. Samuel L. Jackson finally making his Podzilla appearance.
Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson.
Whoa.
What's that other?
John C. Reilly?
John C. Reilly, yep.
Man,
it's
legends.
Weird. It's going to be weird having another movie with kind of famous Western actors in this.
Yeah. I can't wait for it, though. As always, jump into the Discord, links in the show notes, and email us with your thoughts on the movie, podzillapod@gmail.com. And we'll catch you next week for Kong Skull Island.
Jace, you got any last words of advice you want to give our listeners before we head off?
Yeah, I mean, I just can't stop thinking about this shirt thing. I have a confession to make. I used to sit next to a guy at work that always stank like BO. And there is a website where you can like put in someone's email address and it like anonymously is supposed to email them about their BO. And I felt like the worst person doing this. Then coming the next day and not smelling BO and being like, man.
I know who this is. I've heard through the grapevine that he was like real distraught after getting that message.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. I like to think I changed the world for the better, though. I'd like to think I changed the world for the better.
Thanks for listening to Podzilla. Join our Discord server, tag us on Letterboxd, and follow us on our socials at PodzillAPod. The links are all in our show notes. If you're looking to help support the show and fund more adventures on Monster Island, Check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/podzilla to get access to extended cuts of every episode and the occasional bonus ep. Big shout out to Cassie Celine for our seasonal podcast art. And a quick disclaimer that all music and additional audio used in this episode belong entirely to the Turbo Company.